Episode 3, Delphi, the navel of the world. Imagine this. You're standing on the slopes of Mount Parnassus. The air is thin. The olive groves shimmer in the distance. Below you, the Gulf of Corinth gleams like a mirror. And above you, the ruins of a sanctuary that once drew kings, emperors, warlords, and philosophers from every corner of the known world. Delphi, the center, the Omphalos, the navel of the earth. Pausanias, our traveler, comes here in the 2nd century AD, and what he sees is already half ruined, already fading. But the stories, they're still alive, because Delphi was never just a place. It was an idea, the idea that there is a center to the world, that the gods speak here, that you can come with your questions and leave with answers. The myth of the center. The Greeks believed that Zeus, king of the gods, wanted to find the middle of the world. So he sent out 2 eagles, one flying east, one west, and where they met, high on the slopes of Parnassus, that was the center. There they placed the Omphalos stone, carved with the famous knotted pattern, like the belly button of the earth. Think about how powerful this is. Humans crave centers. We want fixed points. Mecca, Jerusalem, the Vatican, Washington, D.C. We want to know, where is the heart of the world? And for the Greeks, it was Delphi, Apollo's sanctuary. But Delphi wasn't just geography, it was theology. This was Apollo's place, the god of light, of music, of order, but also the god of prophecy. The myth goes like this. Once upon a time, the site was guarded by a monstrous serpent, Python, and Apollo, young and brash, killed it with his arrows. He claimed the site as his own, but because he had spilled sacred blood, he had to be purified, setting the stage for Delphi as a place where mortals too came for purification, for guidance, for clarity. Already, we've got the DNA of Delphi: death, guilt, cleansing, and revelation. The oracle speaks. Here's the heart of it. The oracle. At Delphi, in the temple of Apollo, there was the Pythia, a woman who sat on a tripod over a fissure in the earth, inhaling vapors and speaking in tongues. Priests would interpret her mutterings into hexameter verse, and from this came answers, ambiguous, often maddeningly vague, but answers nonetheless. People came from everywhere: Croesus of Lydia, Themistocles of Athens, Alexander the Great. They all wanted the same thing: what should I do? And the answers shaped history. Tangent. Ambiguity as power. Let me pause here, because when you read these oracles, you realize something. They're masterpieces of ambiguity. Croesus famously asked if he should attack Persia. The oracle said, "If you do, you will destroy a great empire." He thought it meant Persia. It meant his own. This is the genius of prophecy. You make the answer ambiguous enough, and it always comes true. And here's the kicker. It works because people believe it. They act on it. They shape their choices around it. This isn't just Greek religion. This is geopolitics. Think about intelligence reports, economic forecasts, political polling. Half the time, they're just sophisticated ambiguity, but leaders act on them anyway. And that action makes the prediction real. Delphi was the CIA, the IMF, and the Vatican rolled into one. The treasuries, a who's who of Greece. When Pausanias walks through Delphi, he sees a line of treasuries. Each city-state built one. Little temple-like buildings stuffed with offerings, trophies, dedications. They're like ancient billboards. The Athenians built one after Marathon, filled with spoils from the Persians. The Spartans built theirs after defeating Athens in the Peloponnesian War. The Corinthians, the Thebans, the Syracusans. Everyone wanted a piece of the sacred real estate. Walking through Delphi was like walking down the National Mall, but every monument is propaganda. Each one says, "We won, we triumphed, we matter." And Pausanias, centuries later, is still reading those messages. The charioteer of Delphi. One of the things Pausanias probably saw, and which we still have, is the charioteer of Delphi. A bronze statue, miraculously preserved, of a young man holding reins, his eyes inlaid with glass, his expression calm, almost otherworldly. It was dedicated after a victory in the Pythian Games, Delphi's own Olympics. And it tells you something. Delphi wasn't just about prophecy. It was about culture, music, poetry, sport. All of it converged here. This wasn't just a holy site. It was the beating, cultural heart of Greece. The Pythian Games. Yes, games. Because, of course, the Greeks couldn't have a sanctuary without sports. Every 4 years, they held the Pythian Games. Like Olympia, but with a twist. These weren't just athletic contests. They included music, poetry, theater. Because Apollo wasn't just the god of archery. He was the god of the lyre. Imagine a festival that's part Olympics, part Eurovision, part Nobel Prize ceremony. That was Delphi. Let me rant here. Why do humans insist on turning everything sacred into competition? At Olympia, you prove your piety by running faster, wrestling harder, throwing farther. At Delphi, you prove it by singing sweeter, playing better, reciting poetry more beautifully. This is the human condition. We can't just worship. We have to rank our worship. And in the process, we create culture, sport, music, art. All of it becomes higher when it's put on a stage, judged, celebrated. Delphi institutionalized this. It turned devotion into contest, the Persian Wars and Delphi. Now let's go back to history. When the Persians invaded, they burned Athens, smashed temples, crushed cities. But Delphi somehow spared. The legend says that as the Persians approached, rocks tumbled from Mount Parnassus, killing invaders. The gods themselves defended their sanctuary. Again, myth as politics. Delphi was untouchable, divinely shielded. And that meant, if you wanted legitimacy, you came here. You offered gifts. You asked questions. You aligned yourself with the gods. Hadrian again. Even in Pausanias' day, Delphi was under Roman sway. And again, Hadrian left his fingerprints, statues, dedications, imperial cult rituals. But here's the paradox. Even as Rome controlled it, Delphi still felt Greek. It was too old, too sacred, too myth-soaked to be erased. It's like Jerusalem under Rome. You can occupy it, but you can't own its meaning. The decline of the oracle, and yet, Pausanias is seeing a Delphi that's already fading. Christianity is rising. Pagan cults are waning. The oracle still mutters, but fewer people listen. And in the centuries to come, it will fall silent altogether. The stones will tumble. The treasuries will crumble. The Omphalos will be buried. And yet, even now, when you walk those ruins, you feel it. The ghosts of the questions, the echoes of the answers. So what was Delphi? It was a place where geography became theology, where myth became politics, where prophecy became policy. It was the center, the place where Greeks came to argue, to compete, to dedicate, to pray. And Pausanias, wandering its slopes, shows us what it once meant. A reminder that every civilization wants a navel, a center, a place where the chaos of the world narrows into a single voice, whispering, "This is what the gods say." That's episode 3. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.